Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Championship video. Today I'll be attempting to rank all 10 teams for the upcoming MC Championship 17, which will take place on Saturday 18th of September 2021. Once again, as I always say, the teams are really well made, so shout out to S Major for making the teams and organizing the event. There are some highly requested duos and trios, and just on the whole, teams with a ton of fan service. S Major has listened to what the community wants, which I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate, myself included. So let's dive into some analysis and team predictions, and before we begin, please consider subscribing, as only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, and we're almost at 400 subs, so I would appreciate anyone who wants to hit that red button, and if you don't, then that's also fine. I'm just grateful for everyone who decides to watch my videos. Alright, time for the disclaimer. As always, what I say about the teams in terms of statistics is completely true, and I have no hate towards anyone in this MCC, and this should be taken into account when I present my opinions as well as my ranking. Where I place each team should not be seen as bias or hate towards anyone on that team. If you are genuinely confused, then I suggest you look up the definition of opinion. I can confidently say that due to the sheer randomness of MCC, I am most certainly wrong in probably all of my predictions. Indeed, it is difficult to account for the coin multiplier and how players will choose to perform on the day, and indeed the incredible balancing of the teams undertaken by the one and only S Major ensures that every team has a decent shot of winning the entire event. Finally, if you have something that you would like to say, for example about a certain team or indeed just your own ranking, then feel free to leave them in the comments, but without any toxicity. Phew, that was a huge disclaimer. Right, should we look at some teams now? So in last place we have the Aqua Axolotls. This team consisting of Antfrost, Captain Sparkles, Erid, and Kara Corvus. The team that a lot of people are placing last in their own predictions. So far, Antfrost is statistically the strongest player out of all the newcomers to MCC in Season 2, finishing 9th place in MCC 16, and he definitely has the potential to finish even higher, and is very skilled at PvP games, particularly Battle Box. Captain Sparkles is another really strong player, usually finishing around the 11th to 20th range, and has come top 10 in the past. Erid hasn't played in a while, his last canon event being MCC 14, where he finished 26th, which is decent for his average placements, which tend to be towards the bottom half anyway. Kara Corvus has had a really rough start to Season 2, finishing 37th in MCC 14 and 40th in MCC 15, where she amassed just 730 coins, which is incredibly low. But for now, this team stays in last place for me, but like any of the other placements, these are subject to change. The teams were only announced a few days ago. In 9th place we have the Yellow Yaks, this team consisting of S Major, Ranbu, Wilbur, and Shovel. Out of all the team placements here, I feel most uncertain about this one, since this team could easily finish much higher, as long as they stay focused on playing competitively. But there is no real team leader, which is a similar issue for the Aqua Axolotls. Sure, all the players here are capable of holding their own. I'm not saying they're bad by any means, but there really isn't that team captain to provide the motivation and good vibes. Simply put, no one on this team is statistically above average. There are some duos that return, for example Ranbu and Wilbur, who played together last event where the team finished 9th, but in all fairness, the team was just playing casually and weren't really trying. But both players have had their good and bad performances in the past. But the S Major Shovel duo also returns after they last played together way back in Season 1, and both players also finish at about the average or sometimes slightly lower. The team should strive for team games towards the end, as their communications should be exceptional and may allow them to overtake several teams to earn a higher placement. 8th place are the Blue Bats. Filza, King Buren, Wisp, and Snag are on this team. Honestly, from my initial impression, this team looks weak, but actually it has the kind of team with good synergy. Also a team that would play for fun rather than for the win. Filza is the obvious strong player on this team, who has gone as high as 2nd place individually back in MCC 12, but since then he has been dropping a few placements and average coins, but is still capable of maintaining top 20, if not top 15. Wisp is another great player who really knows his stuff, and again, solid top 20 player. Buren has not played in a canon event since MCC 12 last November, but he did get a chance to refine his knowledge during the MCC Pride 21 event in June. But normally he is yet another top 20 player. Snag is the newcomer here and is well known for his incredible skill in RL craft, and a highly requested content creator to join MCC. Now, based on how the newcomers to an event have performed in the past, I can see Snag getting top 30, and with a bit of practice, which he has already started doing, he could be another player to get top 20. Who knows, maybe everyone on this team gets top 20, but I can't imagine seeing any outstanding performances from this team as a whole. 7th place are the Purple Pandas. H-Bomb, Martin in the Littlewood, Cobfan, and Rendog are on the team. A reasonable team with many strengths, including communication, so I can see them performing well at team games like Build Mart, Sands of Time, and the new one, Grid Runners. Especially since H-Bomb has that so-called H factor, which essentially describes his ability to motivate his team and to guide them so that the team as a whole can end up finishing higher. He's particularly well known for being an incredible team player in Sands of Time. He is teamed with In the Littlewood, who has been playing in many of the events recently and has been a consistent top 20 player. player, making him a great support player. This is one of 2 teams to feature 2 Hovercraft members on the team, Cobfan and Rendog, and they have played many times before, although the team as a whole hasn't always finished high in those instances. Cobfan has been seeing slow but certain improvement, and has been improving his parkour skills. Rendog is probably the weakest player on the team and consistently finishes bottom 10 individually, however he can definitely hold his own in the most intensive situations, as seen in his MCC 15 performance, where he also happened to be teamed with Littlewood. So overall, great chemistry, good communication, and immaculate vibes are all present in this fantastic team. 6th place goes to the Lime Llamas. Quig, Solidarity Gaming, F-Whip, and Gemini Tay are on the team. This team features new player Gemini Tay from the Hermicraft. The team also features 2 players who didn't play in the last event, MCC 16, Solidarity and F-Whip, both just average players in most games, so the team may be a little unconfident with the Grid Runners game, but Quig can definitely help with that, since when he played it, his team finished first in the game. Speaking about Quig, he is the supposed S tier and is statistically one of the strongest MCC players of all time and excels at all the PvP and movement-based games. It's hard for me to gauge how good Gemini Tay is at MCC, but I am assuming that she will do average, especially with a motivating team around her. 5th place are the Green Geckos. Pons, 5UP, Neochu, and Jack Manifold. A team that unfortunately not a lot of people have high hopes for, but I think this is a very reasonable squad. Pons, the man who finished first place in MCC 16, an incredibly talented PvP and movement player, particularly known for his insane ace race times, alongside 5UP, who is relatively new to the event, but has proven to be a solid support player, finishing 26th and 27th place individually in the 2 events he has played in so far, respectively. Neochu is still statistically one of the weakest MCC players of all time, but she played with Jack Manifold in the last event, and the team did really well at the start but ended up finishing low due to the coin multiplier. Jack Manifold has been improving a lot since his debut at the start of Season 2, and managed 20th place last event. So with this team, all the players would do well at movement and team-based games, whereas they may wish to get PvP games out of the way earlier, since Pons is the only consistent combat player on this team. 4th place are the Pink Parrots. This team consisting of Fruitberries, Illumina, Critic Zeus, and Vixella. We finally have the highly anticipated Fruit Ninja duo, but to balance them with the rest of the teams, they are also with 2 of the Simmers, Zeus and Vixella. The Simmers are known for finishing at the very bottom of every event they play in, and they don't really mind since they play just for fun. The Simmers played last event and so are familiar with the new adaptations for Season 2. It also means that this team has a lot of great chemistry, as Zeus and Vixella have always played together and know each other really well. Zeus is the most well-versed at Minecraft out of all the Simmers, but still finishes quite low individually, so it does seem like Fruit Ninja have a real challenge ahead of themselves. Both Fruitberries and Illumina finished 3rd place individually in the last events that they played in. That's Illumina in MCC 15 and Fruit in MCC 16, and they are both good friends IRL. So, with 2 incredible players and 2 slightly weaker players in the team, I would have to guess that the team can shine at team games and maybe even PvP, provided the Simmers do some combat practice before the event. And I'd say this team is looking to finish around the middle by team placements. In 3rd place we have the Scion Coyotes, Dream, Tommy and Ponk, and Carl Jacobs. Yet another highly requested duo in the form of a Dream and Tommy team up. Honestly, with the average individual placements from each member of the team, I have the feeling that they won't finish as high as 3rd place together, but in my initial rankings, they always slid up to top 5, so I guess they stay here, but once again I'm not so sure about this one, and partly because of Tommy's recent performances. You really can't tell how well he'll do on the day. He definitely has potential, but it's up to him whether or not he wants to unleash it. For example, he finished 9th place individually in MCC 14, but he's been dropping several placements since then, but it's not because he's getting worse. He would just prefer to strive for memes and content rather than playing competitively. But this time I reckon he may choose to try hard, with Dream on the team. On that note, Dream has seen incredible placements the past few events, ever since his unprecedented 19th place finish in MCC 14. He is also the 3rd ever back-to-back winner. Maybe he'll be the first player to win 3 times in a row, and first player to win 5 events in total. With these stakes, I'm sure Dream will want to perform well. Carl hasn't played yet in Season 2, but knows his teammates really well, so we could also see some pop-off potential from him. Ponk's debut in the last event was decent considering he was the only newcomer to MCC 16, finishing 25th individually. Overall, a fantastic team for PvP games and communication. Alright, so here are the 2 teams that I reckon will be in Dodgeball, but of course the teams have been made so that literally any 2 teams could make it to the top 2 to face off against each other. 2nd place are the Red Rabbits, consisting of Sapnap, George Found, Tubbo, and Gumio. An insanely cool team, which got a lot of people hyped up about the team announcements pretty quickly, since this was the first team to be announced. The trio of Sapnap, George, and Tubbo is sure to be a terrifying one for the other teams, since all 3 of them are skilled at PvP and movement. Sapnap, always an incredible player who always finishes top 10, teamed with his good friend George, George, who is also capable of aiding the team and can finish top 20, sometimes top 15. Tubbo has also been on a decent top 10 individual streak, which he lost in MCC 16, where he finished at 18th, but with such a strong team to support him, he could definitely regain a spot in the top 10. The new player here is Gumio, who should fit in with the team since she knows Sapnap and George, and she has been practicing a bunch for the upcoming event. This team will definitely be looking to grind hard and take this event seriously, and it would be brilliant if Gumio gets her first win in her first event. And now for the team that I honestly think will finish first overall, the Orange Ocelots, consisting of Pizza Hut, SB737, Grian and False Symmetry. SB finally returned to the event after a short break, and the Pete-Grian duo is also back for the 4th time. Also, this team is very similar to the Purple Penguins of MCC 13, but instead of SB, there was Kara Corvus, and Kara is much weaker statistically than SB. Indeed, the Purple Penguins actually made it to Dodgeball, so there's no reason why they can't make it again. But of course, as with every other team, it all comes down to game selection. Pete is statistically still the strongest MCC player of all time, but he dropped out of the top 5 individually for the first time ever last event, finishing 12th place overall. SB, although an infrequent player, has managed to secure top 15 placements the past few events, and Grian finished in 11th place last event, a new personal best for him. False is the weakest player here, but is absolutely capable of managing top 25. In season 1, she has proved that she can do really well with a good team around her, and I think this is a good team for her this time around. This team would dominate the team games, particularly Sands of Time and Build Mod, and can do really well in movement. For example, Parkour Tag, which is SB's best game statistically. On the whole, the vast majority of the community agree that the Orange Ocelots will make Dodgeball, but whether or not they will actually win the event is a completely different question. But you may not think that they will make top 2, or you may have other opinions, or perhaps your own ranking that you would like to share. If so, feel free to do so in the comments. I read everything you awesome people post down there, and I'm curious to see what people think of these amazing teams. Well, I've been your host, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative, and I'll catch you all next time. See ya!